life is going to look like on the other side of it. I reassured myself by looking at some stories and examples of people that had done it. And then I just decided, okay, from here, I just need to man up and get on with it. So I use the Pomodoro Technique, if you're familiar with that, so I put on my little Pomodoro app, gave myself my 25-minute block. And of course, lo and behold, it was a piece of cake. It wasn't. But what often happens when we have a fear is that it sits there as a fear. What we don't do is we don't often get enough information. We don't do enough kind of research to just allay that fear slightly. So if we don't do that, then the fear just gets bigger and bigger. Whereas we need it, like if I'm talking with someone, as I quite often do, who's got some financial concerns or fears, I'll say, well, let's just have a really good look at your finances. And it's like, oh no, I don't want to. Or it's like, come on, let's do it. So you do it and you have a look at exactly what the debts are and what they've got where and all. And once you get the information down on paper, I swear to you, there's never been a time when someone doesn't go, oh, that's not quite as bad as I thought. Because that's the creative mind. The creative mind goes bonkers if it hasn't got anything to kind of hang on to. So we need to get as much information, get as much support stuff around us, and then it makes that step a lot easier. And I think if you've given yourself that reassurance, and you might get it from the internet and other things that I've said, or you might get it from talking to a friend or speaking to someone who's trod the path that you're concerned about treading. Mm-hmm. And those little bits of reassurance will boost you. But if we sit all by ourselves and worry, guess what? That worry just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, like a snowball rolling down a hill. So yeah, that would be my response to that.
Okay, wonderful. So earlier this year, you wrote a new book called The 1 Minute Commute. Why did you want to write a new book, and what is it focused on?
Okay. Technically, it was last year. So,
You're right. Last year. It is 2019 now.
That's right. So it came out in the middle of 2018. Yes, it's called The 1 Minute Commute. The idea being that it's the commute from, say, your kitchen to your studio or to your front room or whatever. Okay. So that's the idea. And it's I think, quite a clever title that my publisher, Pan Macmillan, came up with. And it kind of, teases you to think, well, I've heard of that, whereas you might have heard of the 1 Minute Manager and that whole series. So it's quite a clever little play on words. But anyway, it's all about it's really a manual, that's the way I think of it, on how to design, create, build, grow, and exit a very small business. Okay. And it's not, I don't talk about, how to register your business and how to get there's nothing technical. It's much more kind of mindset. There's lots of program or sort of exercises in there. And the idea is it's something that you can kind of dive into whenever you need to. So if you're not sure about how word of mouth marketing works, you'll find a section on that. If you're not sure how to increase your fees and your hourly rate, there's a section on that. If you're not sure how to talk to somebody about, it's that sort of thing. It is very, I've got a copy in my hand now. Mm-hmm. Sad man that I am. I'm looking at my own book. But it's, it's everything I know about running a small business. And yeah, look, I've had some nice reviews. It's widely available down under where I come from. It's also available as an audio book now on audible.com, and it's on Amazon. But so a lot of the sort of reviews and feedback I've had have been local to me, and people have said it's like having a coffee with a friend. And I thought that was a nice way to put it. It's very conversational in style. I'm not saying there's anything in there that is absolutely, you'll never have read anything like this ever before in your life, because there's not many books like that. But what it is all in one place. It's kind of everything I think you need to know to either start or rejuvenate or refresh your own small business. And yeah, that is what it is.
Sure. Well, excellent. Well, and then also speaking of other projects you're working on, you are a podcaster, and you have a brand new podcast coming out. Tell me more about that.
I do, and this is very generous of you. Yes, so look, I do a fair bit I just love podcasting. I mean, Yuri, why wouldn't we? You get to talk to people. It's fantastic.
Exactly.
So I run Flying Solos podcast, and I've done that for, I don't know, three or 4 years, I think. Mm-hmm. And I'm just starting a new podcast called Rekindle that should be on iTunes by the time this show gets published. And Rekindle is looking at what we need to do to re-energize, refresh, just keep the flame alive in our small businesses. So Rekindle is the podcast, and it's just about to go live, and I'm really excited by that, and can't wait to get into it and talk to people. Maybe I can talk to Yuri Cataldo. You never know.
You never know. I hear his schedule's pretty open and he's available.
Excellent.
Well, wonderful. So in everything that you have done and the people that you have spoken with and worked with, what would you say has been the best advice you've ever received?
Wow. Golly gosh. I think the best advice I've ever received, which came in a situation which wasn't actually directly business, but was just the phrase "go for a walk," which doesn't sound like business advice, but it was somebody I was kind of working with a while ago, and I had a few things that I just wasn't kind of sure what to do, mm-hmm. and he just said, "Let's just go for a little walk," and what was remarkable is that really had quite a sort of profound effect on me, because by changing the situation, the geographic situation, and by bringing some motion into what we were doing, it really just opened up a new way of thinking about things, which just sounds. I hope this is an acceptable response. But there was some research done quite recently from a group I think it was in California, that showed that idea generation can be increased by up to 60% just by taking a 20-minute walk. And I'm not suggesting that everybody has to go for a walk, but you need to do something, just get some movement. And I was astonished when I read that, and I have a little expression I keep in my mind, which is kind of walk myself happy. And I'm a pretty happy guy most of the time. But if I get a bit bleh, then I kind of, and everybody does, I know that I'm just a walk away from shaking that off. And that's the fact that I've got that as some kind of solution, I find, and I just find that so unbelievably reassuring. And I know there's a whole lot more to life than just going for a walk, but that certainly works for me. So I will often say to people that are really sort of struggling with something, I'll say, well, first things first, go for a walk, and then let's have a chat on the phone. And just that can have such an impact. And so I hope that's an acceptable response.
Of course, that's perfect. So, Robert, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I really appreciate it. If the listeners would like to buy your book, see more of your writing, and visit your website, where is the best place they can go to find you?
Okay, well, look, that's pretty easy. robertgerrish.com. So that's GERRISH, robertgerrish.com. You'll find everything I do on there. There's, if you want to get in touch with me and just ask me anything, go ahead. There's a contact form on there. I love what I do. I hope that comes across, and anybody that that I can help, I will do my utmost. So yeah, look, it's been lovely talking with you. It's nice to be on the other side of the microphone, I must say.
Well, wonderful. Okay. It's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Advance Your Art podcast. If you like this episode, please go into iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. And while you're there, hit the subscribe button so that every single time I release a new episode, it will go directly to you without even thinking about it. If you're interested in hearing older episodes, please go to advanceyourart.com, where you can find the catalog of everything I've done so far, as well as contact information and projects I'm working on. Thank you again, and have a great day.